Even though it is the beginning of spring, there have been some cold and rainy days here in Georgia. Well, finally the sun has come out long enough for me to start decorating for the new season. And since I like to start with an outside welcome in, I want to first show you how I created this lovely bird's nest wreath using Michael's and Dollar Tree pieces. So I took a trip to Michael's craft store this weekend and I found that they had all of their spring flowers at 50% off. And just look at these gorgeous little bouquets. I just love the light pastel colors. I'm going to have to use this for my Easter decoration. And this is at 50% off. This will be $5. So I picked up that and some other pretty flowers, enough to do my door wreath and my table. At Michael's, I also saw this wispy grapevine wreath. I really like this a lot. It looks a lot like a bird's nest, and I think it would be perfect for Easter. But it was close to $30, and I am not spending $30 for a bare wreath. So I'm gonna see if I could make this myself. So I hopped over to Dollar Tree, which is in the same shopping center, and I found these little willow wreaths. I picked up 4 of these, and I think that might be enough to make something that looks like that bird nest wreath that I saw. I also got ribbon and more flowers that I thought would work. To make my bird's nest wreath, I'm going to start with 2 wreaths from Dollar Tree. These are pretty small, so I want it to be bigger. So I am going to cut an opening in each of them on one side. Then I'm going to take the 2 wreaths and I'm going to put them together. I want the wreath to be about this big, so I'm going to take one end of one wreath and one end of the other and just sort of weave that into the other one. After I pushed one end together, I'm going to take a piece of hardware wire. This is wire I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that to just hold that end together. I'm going to wrap it around the end of those 2 pieces. Then I'm taking the other 2 ends and I'm going to stretch it out to the size I want. I'm sort of weave the end part in to the wreath and wrap the rest around the wreath, and I'm going to use wire to hold those ends in place also. Now that I have my base done, I'm going to use the other 2 Dollar Tree wreaths to create the wispy parts that go around the base. So I'm going to take one and just cut it on one end and start to unravel it. Then I'm just going to kind of divide the pieces in half and cut about 8 inches at a time of groups of twigs. Now I'm going to make sure all the bottom parts of the twigs are lined up, and I'm going to use hot glue at the bottom and take those twigs and push them into the side of the wreath. And I want to make sure they're kind of going up at an angle. And I'm just doing that all the way around, and I'm picking up all of the twigs that are left over, grouping them together and making this as full as possible. So now you can see I have this nice interesting wreath that looks like a bird's nest, and I'm just going to go around and trim some of the pieces just to make it a little bit neater and uniform, but I'm still keeping the wild and natural look of it. And this looks like it will make a really great base for my spring wreath. It came out really nice, and for $4 I think it came out great. I think I like it even better than the $30 one. Okay, so now it's time to add our flowers. I'm going to start with our Michael's flowers, the little tea roses, and I'm going to cut maybe about 3 or 4 inches of the stem of each piece. And I'm going to just weave each piece into the center of the wreath. And I'm putting that whole bouquet, a cluster of the flowers, all in one place on the left side. Then I'm adding some of the lavender Michael's flowers on each end of that. And then the longer hanging flowers on the top and bottom. Next, I'm going to add a little pastel blue and a few of these lavender flowers from Dollar Tree. Now that looks perfect. It's very spring-like and perfect for Easter. And if you like, you could add a couple Easter eggs right here at the bottom. But since I want this to stay up until summer, I'm going to leave the Easter eggs off and keep it just springy. I'm going to just add a bow at the bottom, and I'm using a light pastel blue and a sheer pink ribbon. I'm tying a double bow, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom of the wreath with a piece of wire. And this is what I have so far. Now after looking at this, I think I want to add a little bit bolder colors. So I have this blue Dollar Tree flowers. I'm going to add just a little bit of that to give it a little more pop. Okay, now I think I am done. I have a black door, so I'm going to tie a piece of black wire. This is also Dollar Tree wire to the top of my wreath so I can hang it from my door. And I'm letting the wire extend about 10 inches from the top of the wreath. And at the very top of the door, I have a little nail that I could hang the wire from, and it's low enough so that I can still close the door. So now I have a beautiful spring wreath that I'm hoping will bring in the sun for the season. Follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Snapchat at Your Hustle Home and Your Hustle Home TV for daily home, food, and gardening tips.